Everybody, a little bit early today because I did get finished with most of my work on the early side. Figured I'd pop in and start saying hello to everybody. This is, we're just trying out all sorts of different times and different days. So this is the end of the work week Friday live call-in show. Hopefully, this is the trick to doing things blind and alone. I have no way to check and see if I'm actually live, but I believe that we are live on YouTube. Also, we are on TikTok, and I believe the last few lives that we did on TikTok, we were having sound issues. So every week I got to fix something, and this week I think I fixed those sound issues. If there are any troubles, come on over to YouTube, youtube.com/blindsurfer, and it should be right there at the top of the page. We're also live on Facebook and Twitch. And this thing that I'm holding right here, I've got news. The long-awaited caution tape wetsuit was finally created and sent to me. You guys voted on a design. We worked endlessly on getting this thing created. It was very difficult. None of the major wetsuit manufacturers were able to do it for us. We found a company in Texas. Their logo is right there on the hood of the cap. And what is it? Surf and I'm so excited to even look at it. Surf and Sea in Texas. They I'm just showing you the cap because I want the big reveal to be hopefully next week or the week after once we get some video and put it all together. But I've never worn a surfing cap and it feels kind of weird. Let me see if I can I gotta take everything off. I'm gonna see if I can put this thing on. So excited about the caution tape wetsuit finally being done. It will, all right. There we go. That's it. How do I look? Do I look good and caution-y? Would you get out of my way if you saw me? I don't think it says blind anywhere. Banana just told me it said caution right there. Caution tape on the head. Logo of the company that made it right there. And hopefully it'll keep people out of my way. The wetsuit itself says blind surfer on the chest, just like you guys voted, blind surfer on the back, and then it does this caution tape all around it, trying to get people's attention, like, caution, this is a blind surfer, stay out of his way. I'm going to be wearing that thing in the water this weekend, so if you're local to San Diego and you see some dude out there in a big caution tape wetsuit, that's me. I'm so excited we finally got this thing done because people have been asking for so long, like, when's it going to be ready? When's it going to be ready? It was a very difficult project to get done. I actually don't know if I'm just talking to myself or if we are live, so let's start taking some phone calls. Maybe I can ask some folks if I'm on out there. It's the Friday end of the work week live call-in show with Pete. Hey, who's this? Hello. Not a fantastic start. I know someone's there. Hello, you there? Oh, bummer. All right, let's see if we can get another person to call in. Let's go right to the call and say, hello, who's this? Hello. Oh, thank God.
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you.
Oh, I can hear you too.
Very good. I hate it when the first call doesn't work. Then I just think I've set up everything completely wrong. So who's this? What's your name?
I go by Rove.
Did you say you go by Ralph?
No, Rove.
Oh, okay. Well, what's going on this fine Friday afternoon?
Oh, nothing much.
What do you want to talk about?
Can you still see while you're blind?
No, I can't see while I'm blind. By definition, it is very difficult to see things when you're blind. Actually, I would say it is darn near impossible to see things when you're blind. Although there are different levels of blindness. I never was comfortable. You know, I was legally blind from the time I was 8 years old, losing my eyesight from the time I was a little kid. And I feel like when I told people I'm legally blind, they're like, oh, I get that. I feel like people kind of had a sense of what that meant. Then when everything faded away and all I've got now is the ability to sense light and dark, and light gives me the massive headaches, as you guys saw from my video today. Then I started telling people I'm blind and they're like, oh yeah, me too, I can't see either. I'm like, no, why is this such a hard concept for people to understand? Like, I'm blind now, I cannot make sense of any objects or shapes or what's in my path. And like maybe when they see me walk into a pole or a tree, they're like, oh, blind, I get it. It's the Friday end of the work week show with Pete. Who's this?
This is Enzo.
Enzo, is that the name?
Yeah.
That is a great name. Good Italian name, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
What's going on, Enzo? There's a barbecue place out here in Oceanside called Enzo's Barbecue, and it's literally that's my birthday treat to myself. I go get barbecue at Enzo's, so I have a lot of affinity towards your name. What's going on today?
Nothing. Just sitting here watching your live stream.
Yeah, did you like my caution tape hat that I had on my head?
Oh yeah, I love that.
I don't think people would think I was a very sane or normal human being if I was just walking around wearing that on the street. But Maybe if it gets really cold out there in the water, I'll throw it on and get a little extra attention. Are you a surfer, Enzo, or no?
No, I'm not a surfer.
What part of the country are you from?
I'm actually from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, home of the Steelers. I'm a big football fan. I always grew up watching football, and I was a Patriots fan, and we were always having a big rivalry playing Big Ben in the Steelers, maybe a little before your time, but it is football season. Banana and I got to go to a game. I heard the Raiders take on the Rams a couple of weeks ago, and I'd never been to a football game before because like, what am I going to see? Nothing. But it was just kind of fun to be part of the energy. And there was, the play-by-play guy was in the booth right next to us. And over the PA, they were announcing what was going on. So it was fun to be part of the energy and just kind of experience it. I mean, normally you wouldn't think a blind guy would want to go to a sporting event, but I had a lot of fun. So I'm glad I had the experience.
Yeah.
What do you got going on this weekend?
Nothing much. Might go to the mall.
People still go to the mall, huh? That's a thing? Like, kids still go to the mall?
Yeah, I wish more people would go. I wish more people went to the mall because I go there and there's only I see probably 40 people.
In the whole mall?
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good for the business owners to hear. I remember as a kid, when I was a teenager, that was like the thing. You'd go to the mall. You just go to the mall and you walk around. And when we moved out here, I wasn't sure. When we moved to San Diego, I'm like, are the malls not popular because malls aren't popular anymore? Or is it because it's San Diego and everybody's just rather be down at the beach or something? But I hear that malls are just not the hot spot anymore.
Yeah, Amazon basically just took over all the malls.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's the convenience factor right there. But I remember I used to go with my friends. I'd have $10 in my pocket and spend an hour in a Sharper Image and check out all their gadgets and stuff, and then eventually go get a pretzel and call it a big fun day at the mall.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the fun in just going online and ordering what you want?
It's not.
I'd rather just go to a place and have fun.
Yeah.
What's there. Yeah. Well,
I hope you have a good time at the mall this weekend. I'm going to try and get through a bunch of calls this afternoon, see how the Friday time slot looks. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Or you just calling to say hey?
I was just calling to say hey.
All right. Well, thanks, Enzo. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. It is the Friday end of the work week show. I'm very excited for the end of this work week. I'm going to be more excited for the end of the middle of next work week because I try not to. You don't want to complain about having too much work because that's, you work in order to get work, especially in the voiceover business. But I should be thankful for every job that I get, and I am. But holy cow, has this past month or two been extraordinarily busy. I work for a lot of news organizations, news outlets, and with the big thing happening on Tuesday of next week, it's kind of nonstop news and things to read. So again, thankful for it, but I'm getting a wee bit exhausted. So I'm going to be kind of excited when it's all over and everybody can go back to normal life, if you want to call it normal life. It's the Friday afternoon show, end of the work week show, evening show, whatever you call it. One of these days I'll name this thing. I'm Pete. Who's this? Hello.
Hey.
Hey, who's this?
Hi. I don't really want to say my name or anything, but I have a question.
Sure, fire away.
How did you get into surfing? How did you get into it?
I got into it. I moved from Boston to San Diego, and when you're in the Boston area and you want to start up a conversation with strangers, if you're at a bar or restaurant or just out and about, you basically just go sports, and then people want to talk to you about sports. People talk to you about the Red Sox, the Patriots, whatever. And then Banana and I moved out here to San Diego, and it was just she and I, and we didn't really know anybody. And anytime we tried to start up a conversation with people, they were like, "Well, how was the surf today? How was the surfing? How are your waves?" And we're like, "What? We don't do that." We kind of quickly realized that if we wanted to be part of the San Diego community and make some friends and meet some people, that we should try this surfing thing. And also, it was the time in my life that my vision was I had just a little bit. I could still kind of walk down the sidewalk on my own. I wasn't using the blind guy cane yet. But I'd lost the ability. Even when I left Boston, I used to play Frisbee with my friends. I used to play pickup basketball. I played some flag football when I was younger. And then that was all getting taken away bit by bit by bit. And when people started talking about surfing out here in San Diego, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how much you need to see to be a good surfer. That was a very naive take on it because there's a lot to see out on the water, but my naivete made me decide to go out and try it. So we just walked down to our local surf shop. We bought a big foam board and the two of us took turns on it. And that's how we started.
Huh.
We had no idea what we were doing. She was trying to find pictures to show someone the other day. Like most of the waves in the San Diego area, about 3 to 5 feet generally. The first day that we went out there with some massive 8-foot overhead waves, and we had no idea what we were doing. We just were taking turns getting up on the foam board, and the wave would just come and crash on top of us, and we're like, we're surfing. We didn't know what it was. We had no idea what the sport was supposed to be. But it was really fun. And then that night when we went to our favorite restaurant, we sat down next to a couple, and someone said, "How's the surf today?" And I said, "It was awesome." And that's how we started to make friends.
Wow.
Have you surfed before?
I have not. We're kind of landlocked where we are. We only have a beach down south of us.
It's a really fun sport. I didn't understand how difficult it was going to be and how obsessive people are about trying to get better. It's just the thing about it is, the ocean changes not just every time you go out there, but every single wave that you paddle for. And I grew up as a skateboarder. I used to be able to, when I used to be able to see, I'd do street skating, and I had all this skill and experience on a skateboard that I thought was going to translate. And I was very cocky when I grabbed the board. I was like, I know how to stand on a board. This will be easy. But, when you're doing street skating, or if you're in a ramp, the ramp is always the ramp. It's the same thing. When you're street skating, you know where the curb is or the stairs are or the railing. Like, they don't move, which was great for me as a blind guy. I'd map out the area that I wanted to skate. And there's some popular social media blind skaters like Anthony Ferraro and Dan Mancina, and they've come out here to San Diego and explained to me how they do it. You just map out the area, but every single time a wave comes through, it's completely different. It might throw you a little left, it might throw you a little right, it might throw you really hard in your face. Yeah. You don't know. So it was a very, very, very steep learning curve. But the fact that there was a sport that I could attempt, that there was something I could do after I'd been robbed of so much, the ability to play sports with my friends, that I had something that I could focus my energy on and try and improve, was just a lifesaver for me. It was really awesome.
I just think it's awesome that you are a surfer and you're blind at the same time. That's just incredible to me when I first started watching you.
Yeah, it's hard to, a lot of the people out there in the water, they don't believe it. They even when we try, one of my coaches and I will try and explain, they're like, no, he's actually blind. He cannot see you. So if he's coming towards you, get out of the way. And the surfer's like, sure, I guess, if you say so. A lot of people think I'm just making up an excuse to like T-bone people or something. They don't get it. But I mean, if you got the right attitude and you got the right people, I got really good coaches around me, and now I've got a really cool caution tape wetsuit that'll warn people. If I take all the precautions, I can go out there and have fun. Did you see that? Did you see the hat in the beginning?
I think I did, yeah.
It's it feels pretty sexy. I don't know. Maybe I'll wear it out to dinner tonight with Banana and see if I get some attention with it. I don't know if I didn't turn around. If you couldn't see it in the back, it's got a little like speed flap in the back. So I feel like this thing will make me very fast in the water.
I'm seeing it now, yeah.
Well, that was a long answer to a short question. Was there something else going on?
I just wanted to call in and say hi and ask that question. This is the first time I've done one of these, so.
Well, cool. I appreciate your chiming in on the Friday. Somebody's got to help me name this thing. Every day I just call it the Saturday show, the Tuesday show. Today's the Friday show. I could call it the Pete show because I think my name is in lights right behind my head. I can just call it the Pete show. Does that work?
Oh, yeah, I would like that.
All right. It's the Pete Friday show, the Friday Pete show. It's the show with me, Pete, on a Friday, something like that. Going to try and get through a bunch of the phone calls today. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. It's in the description of the video. If you are on YouTube and you're visually impaired or blind, just click on the description. It'll read the number to you. If you're on the other platforms, it's either part of the title or written right up on the screen. 760-517-6844. It's the Pete Show. Who's this? Hello.
Hello.
Hey, don't die. Don't die until we get to talk.
Yeah. Sorry, I started choking on a soda.
That's okay. What's going on? Glad you're going to pull through, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What's your name?
How long have you been wheeling?
Did you say Wheelan?
Yeah.
I'm bad at hearing names, but Wheelan's a cool name. What were you gonna ask? How long have I?
Yeah. I'm from Missouri,
Cool.
mid-Missouri.
Yep.
It's kind of rural area, so out in the country. But how long have you been surfing for, though?
I picked it up. Let's see. We moved to San Diego in 2016, and I started about 5 or 6 months after the move. So I think October 2016. So I guess it's God. Has it been 8 years? Is that right? Doesn't feel like that long, and I feel like I'd be better at this point. I don't give myself a lot of slack. I never take my blindness as an excuse. And a lot of times when we go out there, I mean, surfing is hard. The ocean is unrelenting. It's just very difficult to be in the right place at the right time and do the right thing. And when I perform poorly, I get down on myself. I'm like, that sucked. That was a bad day. Like, I wish I could have done better. And, you know, inevitably one of my coaches or Banana or someone that's there, they're like, you're doing it blind. And yes, that does increase the level of difficulty by a million, but I still like to, you know, when you do something, you want to do it as good as you can. So when I have a bad day, I get down on myself, but mostly I very much enjoy going out there and attempting it every week.
Yeah. I've never been surfing, but I've been to the ocean before, so.
Well, next time you take a vacation to an ocean, I would highly recommend grabbing yourself a bit. The advice I give everybody is I ride very small, fast, twitchy surfboards that works for my style. But your first time out, grab the biggest board you can, generally made out of foam, and go on a day that's not too big and just have fun with it. Stay on the inside, feel the wave pushing you, and try and stand up. And you know, you feel like you're walking on water. It's a blast. So you know, next time you're on vacation at the water, I would highly recommend it. You will not regret it.
Yeah. Sounds.
Well, that was the wrong button. That's the problem with me running this equipment sometimes. Everything is tactile, but that was a little closer to my right hand than I thought it was going to be. I can control my volume, you guys' volume. There's a little thing right here called the Stream Deck, which is where I control all the music and the calls from, and it's tactile. I can feel it, I can touch it. I have no idea if the cameras have been in the same spot since they were last Friday when I did this show. I think Steve might have run into them a couple times. I never actually checked to see if I'm in frame or anything. The difficulties of trying to do a show when you're blind are many. But people said they could see that hat I was wearing, so I guess I'm in frame a little bit. It's the Friday show with Pete. Who's this? Hello. That's a quiet person. Hello, are you there? 3, 2, 1 and gone. Sorry about that. It's the Friday show. We're going to try and get to a new call. You got right on. Hey, who's this? Oh, sorry. I didn't give you enough time to mute the stream. Hey, who's this?
Hey, I'm Ben, and I was to say I love your videos.
Thanks, Ben.
And I'm hoping I can go surfing one day like you.
Where do you live?
Indiana.
Not a lot of ocean around Indiana, is there?
Yeah.
But there are wave pools popping up all over the place. There's a surfing channel on YouTube. His name's Ben Gravy, and the first way that he got famous was he surfed in every state in the United States, and he did a lot of river surfing. I'd be curious to know which one he did in Indiana, but he did. He found a somewhere to surf in every single state in the United States. Do you play any sports right now, Ben?
I played basketball.
Yeah. Oh,
and I say I'm pretty good, but not the greatest.
Okay. We're working on becoming the greatest, though. Is that the eventual plan?
Yeah.
Boston. So I'm from Boston originally. We have a lot of affinity for Indiana-based basketball players because of French Lick, Indiana's very own Larry Bird.
Oh. But I heard you talking about like trying to find a name for the show.
Yeah. What do I call it?
Well, it's not my idea, but somebody in the chat named Darth Music, she said you should maybe call like the Pete and Greet.
Oh, Pete and Greet. Hey, that's kind of cute. I kind of don't hate that name. It's the Pete and Greet. That's kind of fun. Oh, I forgot this. That's the other thing I can't handle. when I'm just all alone. Sometimes I have Brooks handling the chat. He asks me to put it in slow mode sometimes because I guess it gets a little out of control every once in a while. But when it's just me, it's just a total free for all. There is no slow mode. You guys can hang out in there and have fun and do whatever you want and come up with good ideas that Ben can relate to me. The Pete and Greet. I can roll. I can roll with that.
I just want to say I
Say what? I cut you off. Sorry. What was that?
It's fine. But I just wanted to say I loved your videos, and that's all I wanted to call in for.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I hope at some point when you, just like the last caller, if you get to a spot in the world where there's some ocean, I hope you can hop on, get a surfboard, and go for a ride. And best of luck with becoming the greatest basketball player of all time. You know, whatever you want may come true if you're working at it. It's the Pete and Greet. I kind of like it. It's kind of sounds a little cheesy, a little silly, but it's kind of clever, and it made me smile when I first heard it. It's the Pete and Greet, and I'm Pete. So who am I greeting? Who's this?
Hello, this is Braxton Miller. I am from Kentucky.
Cool.
So I've been watching for a long time. Yes, obviously you have gone fully blind. And something about me, I actually have a vision disease where I'm actually also going blind.
Okay.
And this isn't really a question thing, but I just wanted to say your videos, your motivation, everything, how you go through things so calmly, how you actually think everything's know everything's okay even though when it goes wrong. I just want to say, dude, that really inspires me. It's what I'm going through as a 13-year-old.
How long, when did you find out that your eyesight was going bad? Have you known for a long time?
About 5 years ago. I have a disease called retinitis pigmentosa.
Okay. And
what it does is it kills the retina cells in my eye from backing around. So right now it looks like I'm looking through straws.
Yep. Okay. So yours went from the outside in. Mine went from the inside out. I was actually, the day I was diagnosed by a clinical researcher with no bedside manner whatsoever. And he came out and he pointed at me and he's like, you have macular degeneration. And he pointed at the girl next to me. He's like, you have retinitis pigmentosa. And he was wrong about me. Well, they hadn't reclassified it. What I ended up having was Stargardt's disease, but he thought it was macular degeneration. And he actually said to the girl, he said, yours is going to go faster. I was like, whoo. But I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I think I've met so many people with RP and with Stargardt's, and I feel like everybody's goes at a completely different rate. I mean, you might have a whole bunch of years ahead of you. I don't think that they've been accurately able to measure that. But the one thing I always tell people, so you got diagnosed at 8, is that right? If I'm doing the math right?
Yes, 7 or 8 years old.
Okay, so I was diagnosed at 8, and I say it's a double-edged sword. I feel like it would have been nice if I'd had my vision for longer, if I could have had the life experiences of getting my driver's license and driving a car and seeing some more of the world. But knowing at the age of 8 that I was never going to drive and that I wasn't going to be able to do a job that was very visually intensive, I was able to prepare myself. I was always thinking, what can I do as I get older with someone with low to no vision? So I was able to prepare myself and make a lot of compensations and start surrounding myself with the right kind of people. And I think as long as you have the right attitude and you instead of, going into a hole of dark depression, which you don't need to, I think I've tried to show as many people as I can that there is life after sight. And with the right attitude and the time to prepare for it, you can do it.
Yeah. Also, actually, I do have a question. Do you know how to read Braille and use a cane?
I do not know how to read Braille. I did a video a while ago. I started to learn because I thought it would help me with my ability as a voice actor. And I took lessons for about 6 months and then decided to ask the question to my instructor, will I ever be able to read this at the speed I need to speak? And she said, likely no. She said, if you're learning Braille later in life as an adult, it can take years of practice to learn to do it at the speaking pace. And I'm like, well, that's not good. That was the only reason I was trying to learn it. So I kind of gave up on Braille. Fortunately, a few years later, text-to-speech came around and I used that instead. And the cane, I've not taken official O&M classes, but I kind of taught myself. And then Molly Burke, another very popular blind creator, when she came out to do some videos with me, she taught me the basics of it. Are you learning to use the cane right now yourself?
Yeah. For 3 or 4 years, thankfully my school county actually has that, so they can provide that for me. So for about 3 or 4 years now, I've been able to learn how to use the cane, read Braille, reading Braille is really tough, but using the cane is like actually pretty easy. But the Braille is probably the hardest part.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you on that.
Braille, and then there's like Braille 1, 2, and 3 or something. And so after I spent 2 months learning all the letters, they're like, cool, but you don't actually use that. You use the conjunctions of the letters in Braille too. I was like, what the hell? Why did I learn Braille?
Yeah. Yeah, I think right now I'm Braille 2 right now. I think I like skipped Braille 1.
Yeah, I feel like that's a smarter way to go. So you with the cane, how quick can you find your way? Just someone picks you up and drops you on a random sidewalk. You got the cane. How good are you? Can you quickly get down the sidewalk? I still kind of pick my way. I'm pretty slow. If it's just me, I'm pretty slow.
It depends on kind of the landscaping. Like if I'm in the middle of the grass, that's going to take a while because it dips and stuff. Sidewalk, yeah, that's going to take me a little while. But if it's like a smooth kind of like tile ground, like in a school or in a Walmart or Kroger, I will probably be able to do it because I know there's not going to be anything dips in the ground that are going to trip me besides like the hanger things and all that in the shelves.
Yeah. Yeah. And
but obviously before I get to those, the cane would hit that.
Yeah. And the people, do you find that people get out of your way in your area of the world?
A lot of people. There's one person that I smacked right in the leg with it and I got yelled at, and my teacher was with me right behind me during a lesson. She kind of started yelling at the person because they yelled at me and didn't get out of the way. Yeah,
it
was quite funny.
Cool. Well, that's good. You know what? I love your attitude. I was going to say it's not cool the person to turn around and see a blind person and then to yell at them. I mean, I'm not surprised because stuff like that kind of happens. People are just so in their own world, and then I feel like they've done it. Their first instinct was to yell, and then even once they realize you're blind, it's like, oh, I've already gone down this road. I'm just going to keep being a jerk. I don't know. I've encountered that. I've encountered that more often than I've encountered apologetic people. And oddly, and I don't see it happening, but where was I? It was just this past weekend. I was with Brooks and I were going to meet Banana for breakfast. And he told me at 2 separate occasions, we walked 3 blocks, and on 2 different blocks, someone jumped over my cane. Like it was a sport. They were like, they jumped over my cane. You know,
serious?
Yeah, and I heard something in front of me. I'm like, what was that? He's like, someone just jumped your cane. I'm like, and I get, I wouldn't know unless he told me, and they didn't hit the cane. So technically it didn't, no harm, no foul, but I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah. And also another fun fact. So with retinitis pigmentosa, there is technically no cure yet in quotations. But in Cincinnati Eye Institute is actually doing a study to find a cure for it. And they have a surgery that they can do where they put lab-made cells into the eye to take over the dying ones and the alive ones. Obviously, the dead ones are dead, but it's going to keep the vision where it's at. And I'm actually in that study to find a cure, and I'm the youngest to have the surgery, and I'm the one that's having the best results.
That's kind of incredible. That's pretty cool. They've never presented me with anything that even gave a little bit of hope for Stargardt's, which is a defect on the ABCA4 chromosome, which just by the name of it, ABC, it's a very specific, complicated part. I think that's amazing. So are you part of a clinical trial?
Yes, a clinical trial study. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, both of them.
That's I was talking to, I can't remember his name, his gentleman that I was speaking to last Friday morning, and I was talking to him how, so I was diagnosed like you at the age of 8, and for me that was 1985, and here we are in 2024, and they haven't done anything for my eyesight other than just watch it fade away, which is a little mind-blowing that there's so many things and so much technology and so much medicine out there. You can come up with you can come up with a vaccine in 6 months if you really need to. We can debate the efficacy of that.
That's what they did with COVID-19. It took them like a month.
Yeah. So if you throw enough money at something, I feel like we as people, human beings, especially here in the United States, a lot of smart people, a lot of resources. And I feel like if you just throw enough money at something, you can fix it. But for some reason, the money, the fundraising for blindness just isn't, it's just not there. And that's why. So from 1985 to 2024, nothing. They've done nothing for me. And it's, it's kind of upsetting, and it also is what it is. I talk a lot in the videos and in the longs about acceptance. And I feel like I handle my life. I've started to handle my life better once I accepted what was going to happen, as opposed to being,
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with me. Yeah, like I got diagnosed. I was like really upset. Also, with like being an 8-year-old, I didn't know how to take it. Once I kind of like started more understanding what's going to happen to me, I just kind of like said, okay, this is what my life's going to be, and just enjoy while it's there.
Well, you're way ahead of me. I mean, I was still, I was angry. I was in denial in the beginning. When I was your age, I was still like, it's not going to get that bad. Like, I didn't have the resources. There was no internet. I didn't know anybody that was going through this. So I was just very happy just saying to myself, oh, it's not going to get that bad. So I spent a lot of time denying it. Then in my 20s, when it was really getting bad, I was pretty angry about it. That's where I was for a long time. And then I spent a bunch of time just kind of like hoping that they'd fix it, like through my late 20s, early 30s. I'm like, they got to fix it. They got to fix it. Like, this is a bad dream. Like, how can my eyesight be taken from me? Like, this is horrible. It just seemed like not reality. And it took me a long time. And then I finally, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to do with it what I've got.
Yeah. And also with retinitis pigmentosa, like in dim and dark light, like whenever it turns nighttime, like 7 o'clock, whenever the sun sets for me, like I have to go inside. I can't go hanging out with my friends and all that because it's way too dark. And what's also kind of sucking about that is all my friends want to go hang out in the dark, like even trick-or-treating. Like it just kind of sucks. I kind of got to go in early and just kind of miss out on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. It's so funny listening to someone with RP versus what I've got. So when it gets dim for me, I've mentioned a bunch of times I'm really sensitive to light. Like right now, I've got 4 lights above me, I think, and the lights behind me. Yeah, and it's causing mild discomfort. It's a bit of a headache. When I'm out in the daylight, it's a huge headache. When I hit sunset, when it gets all gray out, now I can't see anything. It's still just blobs, but it's the most comforting thing on my eyes. Like there's some light, so I'm not in the dark, and I can feel some light, and it's like this kind of comfortable glow. So I love dusk, but to hear that that's the one spot, and you're right, when you're that age, that's like when everyone wants to go out and do something, like that's kind of crappy.
Yeah, but at least I got some friends that do want to play video games with me, so I have something to do.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you for the call. I wish you the best. Sounds like you're ahead of me in your mental standpoint. I'm assuming you got a good support structure around you, parents, friends, doctors, and then the clinical trial is. I think it sounds like you're going to be just fine. I went through a couple decades there where I was not just fine, and I hope it goes a lot better for you. It sounds like it will.
Thanks, dude.
All right, thanks for the call. It is the Pete and Greet, I guess is what we're calling it for today. And we're going to be here till 5:30. So what did that say? 4:40. It said 4:49. That's how people ask it. Why do you wear an Apple Watch? Why do you wear a watch if you're blind? Like it talks. Could you guys hear that if I hold it close to the microphone? 4:49 p.m. Yeah. 4:49 p.m. Yeah, the Apple Watch has the text-to-speech features, the same features on it that the phone has. So all my notifications, the weather, my emails, the texts, and the time, of course, come through, and I hear it on my watch. So anybody out there ever wonders why a blind person is wearing a watch, that's why. It's the Pete and Greet. I'm Pete. Who's this?
Hi, I'm Haley.
Did you say Allie?
Haley, H-A-L-E-E.
I don't know why. Like you'd think I'd have better hearing because I can't see anything, but every time someone calls up, I'm like, "What the heck did they say?" But Haley, I got yes.
No, I'm the same way. I'm a little bit deaf, and so I'm like, "Wait, what was your name?"
Yeah. I'm gonna blame it on the phone quality. That's what it is. But yeah. So everybody else, do what Haley did. Spell it for me because I'm apparently hard of hearing as well. Great. two sentences down, 3 more to go.
I work on the phone quite a bit, and so I'm like, can you spell that for me? I'm going to spell it for you.
That's a good idea. What is going on this Friday afternoon evening, wherever you are?
I am currently in Arizona,
nice.
And I'm working at a hotel that is completely dead. So,
is this your break, or are we along doing your duties with you right now?
Well, we're currently under renovations, and so we have pretty much 0 people coming in, and so I basically just have to sit and watch the cameras. Wow, that's it.
That's cool. We did. So we're in San Diego. When we first moved out here, we kept hearing this term, like a group of people, loud people at the bar. Someone go, "Oh, that's the Zonies," and we thought it was like a family, like they're, the Zoni brothers, and like maybe that's the Zoni parent. But we kept hearing it so often. We're like, why is this family so big? Like, who are these Zonies? Like, what are they? And finally, I mean, it wasn't like weeks. We figured after the course of a few days, we're like, oh, that's what San Diego people call the people from Arizona, the Zonies. Lots
Really?
lots of Arizona people come out here in the summer, because I guess it's ridiculously hot in Arizona in the summer, and it's beautifully perfect 72 76 degrees by the beach out here. I will say two of the Zonies, if it's not a derogatory term, I don't think it is, but
No, it's fine.
one time I'd come back from surfing, and the only way to get back up to the car, just because of the way that the tides had happened, was I had to walk up a very, very, very uncomfortable cliff, and there was a drop on one side, and there was a bunch of like loose plants on the other side. It was really treacherous, and I was trying to get up there. My coach was in front of me trying to help, but we both had our boards with us, and these two guys from Arizona came. One guy grabbed my board, the other guy put his hand on my shoulder and stayed on the side that the cliff was going to drop off on. So if we were going to fall, he'd go first. He kept me safe on the edge of the cliff all the way up to the top of it, and I was super thankful to those guys that they did that.
Hell yeah, representing Arizona, baby.
Yeah, good job, Zonies. So, all right, I've sidetracked you though. What were you calling to talk about, Haley?
I was actually kind of curious about like the kinds of wildlife you encounter. I know you've gotten stung by like stingrays, but like being blind, like how many encounters do you have with like other wildlife that you just have no clue about, and people have to tell you about it?
Yeah, not that long ago, Banana and I went to Idlewild, which is a neat spot, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours away from where we are, inland and north, and it's a big hiking community. And we were just on our little hike, and she said a deer kind of jumped out right in front of us. She's like, "Grab your GoPro," and I did, but we didn't get it out in time. But we saw a deer. Or, when she says it's there, I still the visual terminology is something that I cannot get out of my lexicon. And sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I'm watching," and people are like, "Ha, we knew you were lying." And I'm like, "No, man, like." I say I watch TV, like Banana and I will put on TV and I listen to it and she watches it. And I'm like, yeah, we watched a show. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? In the water, yeah. I've never, no, I have been around sharks, but very infrequently. Like I was petrified that sharks were going to be out there all the time. The movies, Jaws, Megalodon, all that stuff. You're like, oh, they're going to come get you. They seem to be very disinterested, at least in me. I think I've only been out there with them maybe twice. I have been surfing and actually heard a whale spout, the big noise that they make.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I've definitely been out there in a ton of pods of dolphins. Banana will get distracted when she's supposed to be filming me. She'll start filming the dolphins. There are dolphins out there all the time. And there is a very cool video. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe if you go to YouTube and type it blind surfer seal, SEAL, there is a wave. And it was one of the waves I caught by myself. My coach was gone. I could feel a wave was coming. And the videography as it was described to me was super cool because the camera lens was pointed at a seal. And at the last second, the wave is coming. I get up on the wave.